Trade Genius.
What's up, guys? Philip at Trade Genius. Wanted to discuss the Bitmain IPO. Now, if you're not familiar, Bitmain is one of the largest producers of mining hardware. They're also one of the largest mining pools. But what we've noticed with this IPO thing is that they've come out with a slide, pre-IPO slide, basically showing what their holdings were, and it created a little bit of discussion in the crypto community because what it showed was they accumulated a lot of Bitcoin Cash and got rid of a lot of Bitcoin. And that gamble is not working. And so we're going to dive into this. I'm going to show you the article on Medium that Crypto Herpes Cat wrote, not making that name up. And I thought, I'm not going to go through it verbatim. I'll give you guys the link, but you guys can check out the details there. But we'll kind of go over the bullet points and how this can affect the crypto space. So let's head on over to that. And okay, so basically what they did was they took and basically said, here's our Bitcoin Cash. They just accumulated a ton of it, over 1 million. And here's our Bitcoin holdings, and it's actually gone down. So in effect, they've given up Bitcoin for Bitcoin Cash. The upside is their holdings now that they claim as less than 1% of all Bitcoin. So that whole, I know there was some speculation about how much they held or whether or not they were even dumping any of it, which apparently they were. They were dumping a lot of it in 2017, probably into 2018. And, basically, you've got this situation now where they've kind of backed themselves into a corner, and I'm going to get into why. The price of Bitcoin Cash has gone down quite a bit against both USD and BTC. They have to keep mining it because if they don't mine it, then the network hash rate drops and it's exposed to a 51% attack. And just with the political ire going around Bitcoin Cash and big blocks and all that stuff, I guarantee you somebody's going to go and 51% attack it. So Bitmain's basically got to keep that chain alive. Problem with that is they're producing more Bitcoin Cash and it's a depreciating asset. And they're not devoting that hash power to Bitcoin. So it's kind of like this losing proposition. At some point you have to think, are they going to just cut loose with this? And that's the end of that. So what I wanted to do is now go on to this next point of what's happened since their pre-ICO slide, which only covers Q1, on 3/31, what's happened. Well, they actually have shaved off some Bitcoin Cash holdings. They haven't gotten nearly anywhere near the amount that they need, but they have dropped some based on, and again, you can look at this article, but it does show based on, the blockchain and the wallet addresses that they have sold some. So about 20 to 25% of their BCH holdings at best have been sold off. But again, they're still mining more. Also, they tried to burn supply. It's another way to deal with, trying to alleviate the supply problem. They just flat out just burned CH2. They just sent it to some nonsensical address, and those BCH are gone. So you can see they're maneuvering in ways that they have to deal with this BCH supply problem that they have. The other thing with Bitmain is that their next generation Antminer hasn't been going so well. You notice here, Red Lee on Twitter, he says they basically tried the 16 nanometer, 12, and 10 nanometer. They all failed. These are all these new next generation chips that cost them about 4 billion won. So that, again, not good. Probably why you haven't seen the second quarter statement, because it's probably looking really horrendous. They've had the slash miner costs, the price of the miners to the retail crowd. They've had to slash those prices. Again, their major holdings are going down in value. So when you look at it from the aspects of those things, this IPO starts to make a little more sense. Not so much fundraising for further development. It's more like cash infusion, because they're basically looking at they need more cash. If they don't prop up the BCH market, then what's going to happen is they're going to end up losing that, and that chain's going to fall apart, and they're going to have to dump it. And if they dump that, that thing's going to go down to near zero, right? You're just not going to be able to unload that much. And again, they got to keep the network running. So it's costing them on both ends. They got to cost it to run. That's opportunity cost lost for getting Bitcoin, mining Bitcoin. You've given up a lot of Bitcoin to accumulate a lot of BCash, and it's just not taking off. Like I think they thought they could probably flip it with Roger Ver, those guys that it would turn into the real Bitcoin, quote unquote, right? And that just going up a decentralized asset like Bitcoin is not working, and this is very obvious at this point. So, author here says, their viewpoint is the IPO is just the Bitmain trying to dump their bags, and I kind of would have to agree with that, unless the market gets really bullish. But I'd have to agree. This is more about this is more of a lifeline type IPO than raising capital to reinvest in the business, to do things like R&D and stuff like that. So and it's an interesting article. I recommend you check it out. I'll post a link in the comments, and pretty interesting. So I would be, as far as how this affects the crypto space, I would be leery of Bitcoin Cash, and it might be one of those things where it just ends up going into the dustbin of history. They're in a bad spot. The way they position themselves with this is not good. So, and keep in mind, Jihan Wu, Roger Ver, those guys, Craig Wright, kind of split ways in March. And it may be because he saw where this was going, and it hasn't gotten any better. So, food for thought. Just keep that in mind with Bitcoin Cash. There's definitely some issues there that they got to rectify, and they may just throw in the towel on that project. At some point you have to cut your losses. So we'll see. If things get bullish again, that'll probably buy them a lot of time, and we'll see how it goes from there. But right now, not looking too good, and you can only burn both ends of the candle for so long. So I thought I would just throw that out there, guys. Food for thought. Again, I'll post this link at the end of the video or in the comments below. Please hit like and subscribe. Appreciate you guys watching. And next video, we'll get into some Bitcoin technical analysis and take a look at what's going on for the week ahead. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Bye.
Trade Genius.